All right, today we're doing a little review on historical context. Historical context is something that you as a reader need to understand before completing any literary analysis. So there's three things we're going to talk about that make up historical context. First of all, a general definition. Historical context is an awareness of the realities and influences affecting a piece of literature. So considering what was happening in the world when the literature was written and how that might have affected the literature or the author. Historical context is part of life and literature. If we did not consider the where and the when, characters, stories, memories, and personal experiences would have a lot less meaning and a lot less impact. Also, historical context is the setting in which an event, idea, or story takes place. Even more than that, it's influenced by social, economic, cultural, and political experiences, thoughts, or feelings. Historical context is needed to analyze the literature, to understand the who's, the what's, the whys. It's needed to understand the literature and dig deeper than just the surface meaning or basic context clues. And historical context is a reminder of how, when, and where a story was written influences the author's work. It gives us a glimpse into history. What we gain from digging into historical context is we understand the author's why the author was inspired to write the story. We see the influence of what was happening at that time and that place in history and how it affected literature and people's ideas and people's welcoming of those ideas. And then we also get a better understanding of the past, sometimes to avoid history repeating itself. So thinking about the literary time periods that we've covered so far, if you think back, we did ancient traditions with the Okanogan and the Ojibwe myths. With early settlers, we covered William Bradford's of Plymouth Plantation, as well as The Crucible. With the Revolutionary period, we dug into Phillis Wheatley's poetry and letters. Transcendentalism led us to Walden by Henry David Thoreau. We dug into multiple poems, short stories by Edgar Allan Poe for Romanticism. The Women's Question gave us Story of an Hour and The Awakening by Kate Chopin, as well as The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. The Harlem Renaissance gave us poetry by Langston Hughes, as well as the autobiography, How It Feels to Be Colored Me, and Their Eyes Are Watching God, both by Zora Neale Hurston. And then modernism gave us a large variety of poetry. The one we spent the most time on was the Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. But we also were able to read Metamorphosis by Frank Kafka and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So thinking about those pieces of literature that I listed along with those literary time periods, jot down which ones were ones that you enjoyed or understood the most, because that will help you with our next paper/project.